After my grandparents passed away, my parents decided not to sell their house and let me live there since I was ready to move out on my own. All I had to handle were the taxes and monthly expenses. Initially, I loved the independence, enjoying the freedom to have friends over any time I wanted. However, the loneliness of living alone soon crept in. So I adopted a 2-year-old German Shepherd named Rocky, named after Rocky Balboa. Rocky was a calm and gentle dog, rarely barking unless he felt threatened or was playing with another dog. I bought him a dog bed and placed it next to mine, keeping my bedroom door open at night so he could get water if he needed it. One night, shortly after adopting Rocky, I woke up to his barking from somewhere outside my room. I groggily got out of bed to see what was going on and found him barking furiously and clawing at the basement door. Normally, I would have called my dad for help, but this time I had to handle it myself, even though I was terrified. I decided to let Rocky go with me, as I didn't want to face whatever was in the basement alone. I opened the door just enough for Rocky to push it open and run down the stairs. I followed closely behind, turning on the lights as I went. Rocky had stopped barking and was now standing still, his tail between his legs, staring at a corner of the basement where a closet door was located. The sight of him frozen in fear made my heart race. Instead of opening the closet door, I took Rocky by the collar and led him back upstairs, shutting the basement door behind us. I dragged him back to my bedroom and closed the door, then went to the kitchen to call my dad. Took 3 tries before he answered, groggy from sleep. I explained what had happened, and he advised me to arm myself with a knife and check the closet. Just as I was about to, I realized the basement door was open again. I heard footsteps heading towards the front door. Panicking, I rushed back to my bedroom and told my dad, who urged me to call the police. By the time they arrived, the intruder was gone, and the cash I had left by the bar was missing. We quickly discovered the basement window was wide open, showing how the intruder had entered. It turned out to be a break-in burglary while I happened to be home. Just 2 weeks ago, an event occurred that I won't soon forget. Since childhood, I've harbored a fear of basements. Now, at 18, that fear has lessened somewhat, but I still get that uneasy feeling whenever I'm alone and hear a noise behind me. It was a cold Friday night, and I was home alone. Our biggest TV is in the basement, so that's where I usually go to play video games. I was deeply engrossed in a game of Fortnite with my friends, headphones on, fully immersed in the action. Even with the loud sound effects, I distinctly heard a thunk behind me. Removing my headphones, I looked toward the back of the basement. Our basement is large but cluttered and messy, so to thoroughly check behind me, I'd have to get up, which I didn't feel was necessary. Although the noise was unsettling, I didn't think it was anything serious. I tried to continue playing, but my focus was shattered. I decided to play without the headphones, feeling paranoid and wanting to hear my surroundings. Not long after, I heard a sudden metallic clank. I turned off the system, realizing the sound was intentional. Walking slowly to the back of the basement, I saw the big metal air vents in the corner and realized that was likely the source of the noise. Approaching cautiously, I felt a terrible sinking feeling in my stomach when I saw a hand reach out from the air vent, waving me over, accompanied by a deep, raspy voice saying, "Come here, I need help." Initially, I didn't run. I stepped back gradually, my mouth agape, staring at the vent. The person's hands gripped the vent, shaking it aggressively, trying to break it open. I screamed, "I'm calling the cops," but the shaking persisted. I called the cops and told them to send help immediately. The operator instructed me to go to a room upstairs, arm myself, lock the door, and hide. I was terrified, And the situation worsened when I heard a door burst open downstairs, followed by a maniacal scream. The intruder shouted, "Where are you? I'm gonna kill you," and quickly ran up the stairs. My heart pounded as he tried the doorknob and pounded on the door so hard it began to cave in. I thought he would break it down. I had to escape through the window or I would be caught. I think he heard me because the banging stopped. I jumped from the window into the bushes below, and, by sheer luck, a cop car pulled up in front of my house. I ran to the officers, pleading for help. They instructed me to wait in the police car, which they locked before entering the house with their guns drawn. Within 5 minutes, the officers emerged with the man in cuffs. He took my place in the back seat of the cop car, glaring at me with the most malevolent, hate-filled stare imaginable. That stare still haunts me. The entire experience still haunts me. I still go to the basement occasionally, but nowhere near as much as before. The events I'm about to recount are a blur of memories from my early years. My brother and I grew up in an old house where we spent a lot of time in the basement, which was outfitted with our dad's hockey table, pool table, and video games. We frequently played on a Super Nintendo, but at some point we started hearing odd noises coming from the boiler and laundry room. The first instance occurred while we were immersed in a racing game when we both heard the distinct slam of the dryer door. Assuming our mom might have been in there without us noticing, we called out for her, only to find the room dark and empty. Frightened, we bolted upstairs, leaving everything behind, and our parents, probably dismissing it as childish behavior, found nothing unusual in the laundry room. Several months later, one night I was wandering to the kitchen when I heard the TV downstairs turn on with its characteristic click. I called out for my family, but no one responded. When I went to my parents' room, they were annoyed with me for waking them up. My dad went downstairs and turned off the TV, claiming it was just a glitch. After a few more strange occurrences, the most terrifying event took place just before our move to a new house. With most of our belongings already relocated, our parents let us keep the TV and video games in the basement for the final days. While playing, I suddenly felt a hit to the back of my head, which I initially thought was my brother. Then I saw a red ball bouncing behind the couch. At the same moment, the boiler room door began to close slowly. My brother and I exchanged terrified glances before sprinting upstairs in a panic. Our parents checked downstairs but returned in an unusually somber mood. They instructed us to stay in our rooms, and soon after, a police car arrived. We were kept in our rooms and didn't learn what happened until after we moved. My dad had tried to open the boiler room door, but something seemed to be holding it shut or pulling it closed. Even after all this time, the fear in my dad's voice lingers, and although I don't believe in ghosts, I still find it hard to explain what happened in that basement.